Hello there, Slamscape here. Today, I guess, excited to show you a hauler combat build that's basically, as the kids would say, made for the memes. Yup, the hauler, bless its little heart, is good at maybe two things, and neither of them have anything to do with hauling cargo. Packed to the brim with cargo racks, it can barely handle 26 tons of freight. But hey, that's not why we're here. The hauler's real talent, it's a surprisingly solid starting jump ship, and get this, it's actually pretty zippy. Now, since it's only got one lone small hardpoint, yeah, combat gets tricky. But if you're not taking this too seriously and just want to have some fun, then this build is for you. So buckle up, let's run through this build quick, and then watch the hauler in action. You won't want to miss this. I'm just going to run through the build relatively quickly, because nobody should really be building this ship. This is only for unhinged commanders who have too many ships in a board. That being said, I will post a link to the full build in the description. But again, don't build this ship. This hauler combat build is a little bit of an older build, so I might make some different decisions if I was outfitting it now, but it doesn't really matter, you're not working with much. Any changes would result in only a few percentage points here and there. Again, I can't reiterate this enough. Don't build a combat hauler. For the armor, I went with reactive surface with thermal resist and deep plating, which, combined with hull reinforcements, gives us about 945 armor. When resistances are taken into account, it's about 1400 effective armor against most damage types. For the power plant, 2A armored with thermal spread to keep us from overheating. Power usage itself isn't really much of an issue. Next, 2A enhanced thrusters with dirty tuning and drag drives gets us to 448 meters per second cruising speed and 670 meters per second boost. Normally, you'd run drive distributors in the experimental slot, but that only seems to give us 2 more meters per second, so I just used what I had. For the FSD, I used the 2A SCO version with increased range and mass manager because I like having a better jump range, and lighter drives don't really help our cruise or boost speed much. This gives us about 31 light years per jump. Then, 1D life support with lightweight engineering. Next, 1A power distributor with charge enhanced and super conduits. And finally, 1D sensors with 3 grades of long range to boost our scan range slightly. The hauler only sports 2 utility slots, cause, again, this ship is a cardboard box with thrusters attached to it. I run a 0E shield booster in the first slot with resistance augmented engineering and supercapacitors in the engineering slot. For the second utility slot, I put in a point defense turret for missile protection when my shields go down. For the optional internals, we start with a 3C biweave shield generator in our top slot. I run thermal resist with low draw in the experimental. This gives us about 180 to 200 effective shield strength, which is basically there to stop alpha strikes, but won't last under sustained fire. I run low draw over fast charge because the 1A power distributor cannot keep up with the recharge rate. Our shields will still reboot in about 30 seconds, so if they go down, you can beat a hasty retreat and let them recharge before heading back in for another attack run. The rest of the optionals are straightforward. 2D module reinforcement, 2D hull reinforcement with heavy duty and deep plating, another 1D hull reinforcement with heavy duty and deep plating, a 1D module reinforcement, and finally a 1D FSD interdictor. Again, this gives us some hull strength when our shields go down and some module protection. But mainly you're going to need to rely on speed and our small size to avoid damage. Finally, for the hardpoint, I run a Class 1 modified Guardian plasma charger. which yes, I know it's supposed to be for fighting Thargoids. However, it does 50% of its damage as absolute, which ignores all resistances and works equally well for both shields and hull. It's basically the best option, being limited to only one small hardpoint. It does, however, require a lot of pip management, since a fully charged shot requires a significant portion of our weapon capacitor charge. Let's take a look at the build in practice. Alright, here we are in a hazardous res site, because, you know, if you're gonna try something stupid, might as well go big. So we're just searching for a target that's by itself. That's probably not the best ship to be taking on wings of 3 or 4. So we found a federal event ship here. Basically, we're just gonna go full pips the weapons until it starts shooting at us. And, you know, our shield gets dangerous. I'm not taking too much damage yet on my shield, so I'm not worried about them. Although now, I like to switch my pips to systems when I'm taking direct fire. Then I swap back to 2 into engines and 4 into weapons when I'm trying to do damage. Also, boosting past to get a little bit of distance and try and come back around for another pass. So now we're getting some help from NPCs, which helps take down a little bit of the shield, but now we're just trying to lay into it and do damage. Alright, so now I'm getting shot, so I switch 4 pips to systems and back to engines to get boost. So I'm trying to get some shields back, and then now we're back on the attack. Ship's down to 14%. Alright, 1 gunship down. So that was 600k on that first one. We're going to see if we can hit any targets of opportunity, which is Anaconda's already basically dead, so we're just going to get a few hits to get a credit. Generally, you want to be a little bit closer with the plasma charger. I think its effective range is about 800 to like 1200 meters. But it does hit pretty accurately even at range, so sometimes it's worth it to just throw some damage in. Alright, I probably want to avoid a wing of 2. We're still practicing. This is an elite ranked Diamondback Scout, which will definitely be somewhat of a challenge. It's probably going to be pretty squirrely. It's got, I don't know, 6 times the firepower? No, more than that. If you haven't noticed, I'm usually keeping 4 pips into weapons because the plasma charger drains a lot for each shot, so you basically need to keep it up at 4 pips, or you're going to run out of shots pretty quickly. So I kind of keep switching to 4 pips into shields, just to keep some recharge going. And then when I'm on the attack, I go 4 pips to weapons. And it's a slow process. Alright, now shields went down. It takes about 15 seconds before they start recharging. And then it should come back about 10 to 15 seconds after that. So I just put some distance between me and the scout, and now I'm going to head back in while my shields recharge. Try and get some hits on. Probably too far out on these shots, but Also still trying to get better at pit management, so I'm making some mistakes here. Trying to fire with no charge capacitor. Alright, so now that we're on its tail, we can afford to be a little more aggressive again. Alright, shields are back up, so we'll try and... Yep, that was not the best move to be doing. Every ship is pretty much heavier than me, so they do a lot more damage on ramps than I do. I don't know why I threw chaff. That's still going to do nothing for my fixed weapon. Yeah, so I'm toggling between 4 pips into systems and 4 into weapons, so I can keep trying to recharge the shields, even though I'm also trying to take the hull down at the same time. So I'm going to see if I can get the hull down before the shields come back, but it's going to be tight. Again, this is a very slow process. Your damage output is not great. And barely. So close. Good thing this scout does not have shield setbacks, because this would be a painful process. Shields down again. Do a little bit more damage, and boom. Almost not worth the 180,000. credits, but you know, it's more for the bragging rights, you know. Well, there you have it. A ridiculous hauler build that somehow gets the job done, as long as you're smart about the fights you pick. We're leaning into this ship's compact size and surprising speed to pull off some unexpected hits against bounty targets. But let's be clear, this is not a build you want to copy. Consider this a cautionary tale, a reminder that just because something works doesn't mean you should do it. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on future builds and tips. Thank you for watching.